I found my son's head in a bucket.
From a bloodthirsty female Latin King gang member that chopped up a rival and left his body parts scattered throughout Green Bay.
Is this blood? Does this look like blood to you?
That's real, right? That's real, dog.
To a high-ranking female Crip who, after she lost her brother, went on a terror spree and ended up killing countless rivals.
A total of 4 people were shot, 2 of them killed.
Welcome to the most bloodthirsty female gang members. In this first section, we look at the 5 most bloodthirsty evil female gang members of all time. At number 5, Taylor Shabusiness is a sick, bloodthirsty female gang member that needs to be locked away from everyone for the rest of her life. Growing up in Wisconsin, Taylor found herself bored and with a lot of spare time, and when teens have nothing to do, they get in trouble. And for Taylor, growing up in a small town in Wisconsin, found herself hanging around sketchy people and doing hard drugs. Her early years were defined by a chaotic home environment marked by heavy addiction. When Taylor was just 11 years old, her mother passed away from severe alcoholism. Seeking a fresh start away from the toxic environment of the city, her father uprooted the family and moved them north to the quiet, unsuspecting suburbs of Green Bay, Wisconsin. But you can't outrun your trauma. In the 7th grade, Taylor was psychiatrically hospitalized for the first time after a severe mental health episode. By high school, the quiet suburban life hadn't calmed her. It had isolated her. Heavily medicated on mood stabilizers and antipsychotics, she began acting out, eventually being expelled her senior year for a violent fistfight with another female student. It was during these turbulent, drug-fueled early adult years in the Wisconsin suburbs that Taylor claims she found her real family. She allegedly got mixed in with a group of suburban misfits mixed with Hispanic kids from the hood that formed their own hybrid suburban chapter of the Latin Kings.
Family, we all Latin Kings, so we beeping, we don't with SDs.
When Taylor crossed paths with 24-year-old Shad Therian, it was love at first sight. But according to suburban gang politics in her area, it was forbidden. While he might not look the part, believe it or not, Shad Therian, who ended up being her boyfriend, was an active suburban SD gang member. Unfortunately for the Lovebirds, their gangs were beefing over drug debts. She was stepping directly into enemy territory and was playing a dangerous game by dating Shad. In the Midwest street hierarchy, Latin Kings and SDs have a deep-seated violent history. It's on site in a lot of the Hispanic hoods in Green Bay.
Officers responded around 1:45 a.m. to Deckner for a weapons call. There, they found an 18-year-old male unresponsive, and he would later die from his injuries. Shooting early this morning that left 1 man dead and 1 teenager wounded.
Green Bay police on the hunt for a homicide suspect following that deadly shooting on Deckner Avenue. 1 man is dead, a teenager wounded.
As you can see, it is still very active here on Deckner Avenue. Police are still over there doing their investigation, and the road is closed for the time being. A 17-year-old victim was then located at the local hospital, where he was receiving care for a gunshot wound.
As you can see with these two gangs, they don't mix and they don't do business. For Taylor, dealing with an SD was a dangerous violation of street protocol from the very start, and it meant any act of disrespect would have immediate, lethal consequences. On the night of February 21st, 2022, Taylor was actively on the run from probation out of Texas, wearing an ankle monitor and looking to score. According to police reports, she went to Shad to buy a $50 bag of methamphetamine. She handed him a $100 bill, expecting her change. But instead of honoring the deal, Shad pocketed the extra $50.
I gave him $100 for the bag, and the bag was $50. He pocketed the cash. I went to buy a bag on the low, so I went to my ex, who was a Satan disciple, and family, we all Latin Kings, so we beeping, we don't with SDs.
The situation escalated quickly when Shad invited her into the basement before she could leave. According to Taylor, Shad pulled out 2 metal chains and proposed that the two get intimate. Taylor confronted him immediately, demanding her cash back with a clear warning, allegedly saying the words, "Where my money at, fool?"
He wanted before I left, so I went into the basement, and he went and pulled out 2 chains. I asked him, "Where my money at, fool?" And he said, "I ain't got it."
When Shad refused to pay up, Taylor acted as the enforcer. She took one of the chains, wrapped it tightly around his neck, and choked him out. She watched his face turn purple, waiting out the final moments of the rival gang member who had dared to short her.
So I took a chain, I put it around his neck, and I asked him again, "Where my at?" He didn't respond. His face turned purple.
After the strangulation, Taylor laid down on the bed next to Shad to listen to his chest. When she realized his heart was still beating, she went upstairs, grabbed a heavy knife from the kitchen, and returned to the basement to finish the job.
So I laid down on the bed and to listen to his heart beating, and I said, damn, this motherfucker is still beating. I went upstairs to grab a kitchen knife, and I chopped his off. And
This bloodthirsty female is so unnecessary she could have left the man with a little dignity. Here is some body cam footage of the horror police walked in on.
Hey. Is this blood? Does this look like blood to you? Bloody footprint? You see this right here?
Could possibly be blood.
Who did that?
In this next clip, you get to see the face of pure evil and the worst humanity has to offer.
Get out of the garage. Who else is in the apartment? Be straight up. Tomes? Who else? Just Tomes? Is he armed? Nobody's armed?
Nobody's armed.
You sure?
Okay.
When police checked the downstairs, they were horrified to find Shad's head in a bucket left rotting in the basement.
That's real, right?
That's real love.
Dude, it is.
Yeah, that's real dumb.
After this discovery, for obvious reasons, Taylor was charged with murder, and this bloodthirsty female gang member was finally behind bars. Inside the courtroom, Taylor continued her reign of terror and attacked her public defender not once, but twice, while everyone in the courtroom watched in horror.
Wow, Taylor Schabusiness had to be restrained during the court hearing. She attacked her own attorney just moments after the judge agreed to delay her trial. This woman charged with a gruesome murder attacks her attorney in court.
You went off on your attorney, Taylor. You went crazy on your attorney.
This actually happened more than once.
Taylor is the type of individual you do not want free and around civilized people.
You might also know Taylor as the woman who pointed finger guns at the judge during her trial, and also flipped off the same judge during the same trial.
It takes a special type of gangster to continue flipping off and threatening the judge while facing life in prison. Say what you want about Taylor, but at least she is keeping the same energy she did in the streets inside the courtroom. Unlike a lot of these gangsters that turn into punks when standing in front of the judge facing life in prison.
I was lost. I was trying to be someone I wasn't. France and pure influenced me to
Take off your glasses, buddy, and put on your flat brim hat and flex those tats. Don't cry now because you're facing life in prison.
I caused pain on the community and their loved ones. And I hurt two little girls. I deserve to be punished. Their family gotta live with the pain forever that I caused. I wish I could rewind, but I can't.
You don't see Taylor switching up in court like this. And at least she got her man. She walked him down and didn't put any innocent bystanders' lives at risk like this clown did.
You might also know her as the woman who was eventually forced to wear a spit guard for everyone's safety and then leaving dismembered body parts across the city of Green Bay, Wisconsin.
All jokes aside, the reality is that Taylor is a sick, bloodthirsty girl that you do not want to be beefing with when it's wartime in these streets.
Mother found the victim's head in a bucket.
I found my son's head in a bucket, so I'm dumbfounded.
My prayers and condolences go out to the family, friends, and loved ones of this young man who tragically lost his life at the hands of the monster that was Taylor Schabusiness. Everyone head to the comment section and let me know the craziest thing an ex of yours has done. Whoever comments the craziest story will have their comment pinned. At number 4, these bloodthirsty gangbanging girls have gotten out of control. These bloodthirsty chicks aren't satisfied with catching a body the old-fashioned way using a strap. Instead, they like to get up close and personal. This next group of female Latin King gang members show just how ruthless gangbanging women are in 2026.
Investigators tell us a 32-year-old woman was attacked Thursday around 2 in the afternoon. She was later flown to a San Antonio area hospital where she died that night.
This group of bloodthirsty females allegedly stabbed this woman over and over again and laughed as she begged for her life. Why exactly they did it is unknown. What is known is that it takes a special kind of brutality and evil for someone to continue plummeting knives into someone while they cry and beg for their life.
Rio police there say 3 young women are facing murder charges. Rio police said they arrested 21-year-old Kitty Diaz, 19-year-old Amaya Diaz, and 21-year-old Kiandra Faz.
Every demographic has their issues, and I love my Hispanic brothers and sisters, but for whatever reason I cannot explain. Hispanic gangs produce by far the most violent girls. These girls really live and breathe gang banging, unlike any other girls from any other culture.
The investigation is ongoing and more charges are possible.
My prayers and condolences go out to the family members and loved ones of the 32-year-old woman that tragically lost her life. Hopefully justice will prevail and these knife-wielding bloodthirsty savages will get fried in the courtroom and hopefully will never see the light of day for what they did. This is pure evil at its worst, and there needs to be severe consequences for this animalistic behavior. At number 3, Shakayla Johnson is a bloodthirsty female gang member from Indiana, who is a high-ranking blood that has put in a lot of work for her section. She was a high-ranking member of the 9 Trey Bloods, and unlike a lot of the other females we cover, she was not in the set to flirt and sleep with the guys. She was there to cause pain and destruction on her rivals. The 9 Trey Gangsters, NTG, also referred to as Billies or Billionaires, are one of the most violent and historically prominent factions within the United Blood Nation, UBN. To understand how such a legendary gang like this was able to set up shop in Indiana, you have to look directly at the blueprint established by 9 Trey's national history. The origin of 9 Trey traces back to 1993 inside New York's notorious Rikers Island jail system, specifically the George Machen Detention Center. It was founded by Omar Porte, also known as OG Mac, as a unified self-protection group for African-American inmates against established, dominant prison factions. When members began finishing their sentences in 1994, they exported the structure directly to the streets of Harlem, anchoring their early operations around abandoned buildings near Lenox Avenue. Over the next 2 decades, the set metastasized down the East Coast, spreading through New Jersey, Virginia, North Carolina, Georgia, and eventually cutting westward into the Midwest pipelines of Indiana. Shakayla's introduction to the gang was through the drug trade. She was selling pills to a couple members of 9 Trey, and through these interactions, she ended up later doing business with these guys. And that is how she got involved with the gang. After officially joining the gang, this bloodthirsty young lady was desperate to go up the ranks. She entered the field during wartime as a stepper and started drilling on her rivals. This bloodthirsty female was allegedly responsible for multiple shootings. Every time a rival got killed, her name was always in the mix, and eventually the law caught up with her and she was arrested for a body.
Although it took 18 months to make an arrest, IMPD hopes the case gives the victim's family some long overdue justice. On a Sunday afternoon in mid-November 2024, 20-year-old Tyshawn Williams was shot and killed on the 3rd floor of this apartment building along East Market.
A Texas woman is in jail right here in Marion County, accused of murdering a man in downtown Indianapolis in late 2024.
Detectives quickly questioned the shooter, Shakayla Johnson, who
there's no statute of limitations on taking somebody's life.
New information about the shooting helped lead to Johnson being charged and tracked down to Texas, where she now lives.
This is the sad reality when it comes to gangs. When you join a gang, you are trading in 1 to 2 years max of committing crimes, partying, and being tough for either a life sentence or a grave. At number 2, Aspen Cartier is a baddie from the hood that is an official member of a gang, and despite her bloodthirsty evil tendencies and her cruel and awful personality, a lot of guys simp over her, and she is considered a prize in the hood. Outside of the hoods of Chicago, where she has some respect in the regular world, she is known as a deplorable evil human being that should never be around innocent, defenseless creatures like a baby, or especially not a small dog. This bloodthirsty savage had her career take a massive hit after she ended up getting arrested after she recorded herself on Instagram Live beating her dog nearly to death. Horrifically attacking a fully defenseless animal like a tiny little dog and beating it to a pulp like that is as evil behavior as you will find. After this horrific video got clipped and made its rounds on social media, the entire country was horrified by the evilness and brutality of what she did. The only person that found it funny was a sociopath named Tam from a podcast in Los Angeles called No Jumper.
Speaking of things that really make white people upset, animal abuse.
After watching the heartbreaking video, Tam could not help herself and started laughing uncontrollably because she thought seeing a defenseless creature brutalized was the funniest thing in the world.
How you get out the cage? I think we finna end stream out because this dog.
Damn, what doing to it? Sounds crazy.
If you find something like that to be funny, then you have some serious psychological problems. Just as a human being with the slightest bit of empathy, it has to break your heart, seeing a defenseless creature brutalized like that.
My good sister, Ashman Carter.
Yeah, exactly.
She had no intent to harm that animal. Lush is appalled right now.
Joanne Cochran. Like, if it's not on cam, then I'll be there. Like,
write that down.
You feel me? Like, what, fool?
If it's not on cam, I'll be dead.
Like, are you?
This is some sick and twisted behavior for her to be laughing like that.
I like the way she did that, but I'm not going to bleed her. Like,
Lush's face is so sincere.
Oh man, I don't like animals getting hurt, bro.
After the horrific video made its rounds and every podcast gave their opinion, Aspen Cartier tried to save face by posting another disturbing video with her dog.
Tell them that you're fine. Tell them right now. I'm not playing. Tell them. Tell them. Tell the people. Tell them.
You can tell this innocent, kind little creature is absolutely terrified of its bloodthirsty, evil owner.
You're fine. You're fine and you're for sale.
She then claims this innocent little creature is for sale and we need someone to buy this dog off her as soon as possible so we can protect him. You can tell this little dog has a kind soul and just wants to loved and cared for.
I'm a faker. Tell her. I'm a faker. I just like to cry, so mommy can pick me up, so somebody can play with me, so I can lay with somebody, so I can just do something with somebody because I don't like being alone, and nothing really be wrong with me because mommy fed me, mommy gave me water, and mommy let me pee, and mommy cleaned up my pee, and it's really just time for me to go to bed, and I'm just getting whiny. See ya.
The way she manhandles and mistreats this poor little creature shows that there is a lot of evilness and cruelty inside this young lady's heart.
He just bit my man his lip.
I really do not like this young lady. Since you are a gang member, take your anger out on your rivals, not a kind, innocent little creature that just wants to be loved and cared for. Sadly, because this happened in Chicago, she barely got any repercussions for what happened and only had to spend a couple hours in jail and do a little bit of community service. Twitch, which is a no-nonsense kind of platform that has banned countless people for minor infractions, did not care that she was live streaming herself on Twitch committing a crime and brutalizing her dog. She is being treated with a double standard, and she is allowed to do things. Others are not, and she ended up only being suspended and will be allowed back on the platform at some point. Hopefully karma will do its thing, and this bloodthirsty female gang member will get some real repercussions for her cruelty. What everyone wants to know is what happened to the dog, and from what it sounds like, the little guy is finally safe and away from this monster. Thanks to swift action by the Brookhaven Police Department, the puppy was removed from the home and brought into the care of a trusted local animal shelter. He is now getting the round-the-clock care, safety, and kindness he deserves, far away from his bloodthirsty former owner. The name of the shelter where this kind, innocent little puppy will be staying is called DeKalb County Animal Services. This shelter is managed by the Lifeline Animal Project, a nonprofit that strives for no-kill status, meaning they aim to save 90% of the animals that come through their doors. So only 1 out of 10 dogs that come in end up getting put to rest, which is a good rate of success, but still sad for the dogs that did not make it. Because they are an open intake shelter, they are legally required to accept every animal that arrives, no matter how full they are. They cannot turn anyone away. This creates constant, extreme overcrowding and puts immense pressure on their staff to find space for every single pet. This has led to a constant, extreme crisis. The shelter frequently operates well over its intended capacity. which has resulted in public complaints about unsanitary conditions, cramped cages, and stretched resources. Their staff is under immense pressure, often forced to make heartbreaking last-resort decisions simply because there is nowhere left to put the animals. The puppy is now in a high-pressure environment where people are working around the clock to save lives. With that being said, even though it is not the perfect situation, the little guy is now at least safe and away from her evil former owner. Another good thing is because of how viral the video is, he will most likely get adopted, and hopefully this little guy will then be able to live a long, fulfilling, and happy life. Let me know in the comment section what you guys felt after seeing that video. Were you horrified, or did you react like Tam and think it was the funniest thing in the world? Make sure everyone lets me know in the comment section. At number 1. As a black man, this next TikTok queen, who claims to be a blood and high-ranking female gang member, embodies everything that frustrates me most about my community.
I can say something controversial, and I know it's controversial, but my hot take is black teenage girls should be allowed to be ghetto and loud. I hate how black teenage girls are the only ones that have to be subjected to, like, racism and sexism when they're teenagers. Like, have you ever had the emotions of, like, the average teenage girl? It's terrible.
You look more like the average teenage boy, but go on.
And white teenage girls be acting the exact same way. They be loud, they be cussing people out, but they're never evenly stereotyped. It's only young black girls who are stereotyped.
I love all my sisters, but we are not about to pretend like snow bunnies act the same as y'all. Just like how a group of white boys don't act the same as a group of brothers.
Especially when you think of, like, when you say ghetto girl, the first thing you think of is like a 15-year-old girl. So I hate the fact that young black women, they're not allowed to actively just be teenagers. They're not allowed to have emotions and have the complex emotions that comes with teenage girlhood. And I was always accused of being, like, I guess, like, the crybaby because I am a black woman and I have a black family. But I always was accused of being like a crybaby.
You were accused of being a crybaby because you have a black family. Do you hear what you're saying? That literally makes 0 sense. And I am going to remove your victim card and give it to someone else that is more deserving.
Maybe overly emotional, loud, rambunctious, angry. And then the older I get, the more I realize, like, hey, that's just normal teenage girl emotions. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be loud and angry. What's going on? If people are trying to take my rights away.
People are trying to take your rights away because teachers do not want their students loud, screaming, and disrupting the class. What are you talking about?
Yes, I'm gonna be crybaby because literally puberty, acne, and everything. I don't know what's going on. So my whole point is, like, why are little black girls, they're always demonized in their teenagehoods for having emotions as everyone else is, but everyone else is fine. Everyone else can have emotion, but little black girls.
As a black man, I feel like a king, and I feel like all my sisters are queens. We don't always have to be victims. I don't know about y'all, but white folks have been treating me extra good ever since COVID. We have it good right now, and I feel it holds us back from being the kings and queens that we are if we are always playing victim. If something is actually racist, then call it out, but a teacher telling you not to yell and disrupt the class is not racist. It's common courtesy.
A lot of young moms were out there. They're not even saying it like in a weird way. My mom and my dad were on and off again for a while, but they're still together. And again, what is the meaning of a hoe? What do you consider a hoe? A girl who has 2 bodies or a girl who has 20 bodies?
I think this has nothing to do with us. And in reality, this is all about you feeling better about your mama that was out here in the streets getting jiggy.
Every time I see someone talk about, like, high school and it's like, oh, I'm doing this to spite my bullies, and my first reaction was like, dude, your bullies have probably moved on from their lives. And I was talking to my friend, like, about this because she was bullied, and she was like, Kat, you made a giant cut in high school. And I was like, no. And she was like, you didn't pick on people, but even if you didn't consider it bullying, you were kind of a bully. And I was like,
this big old blood claims she was the mean girl and the biggest bully in her high school. By the looks of it, she could definitely bully a couple pies of pizza and a couple Big Macs.
like, oh, okay. And I just moved on. Maybe I just don't recognize the science behind it because I'm going to be 22 this year.
You're 22, looking like you're 34.
High school. So I don't understand, like, why people always are like, yeah, I'm gonna go spite my bullies. And it's just, if I was a bully, my train of thinking is that it's been years, move on. High school is high school. We're grown as adults.
There you guys have it, a pathetic big old blood playing the victim card and then bragging about all the kids she used to bully in high school. This is one evil and deplorable human being. Have some compassion for the poor young ladies whose life you made miserable back in high school. In this next section, we look at bloodthirsty female gang members that have taken a life. At number 5, we look at a bloodthirsty female blood gang member that is a pick-me girl and desperate for the validation of men. And she allegedly was used as a getaway driver when she drove 2 blood gang members to a house where they committed a horrific crime.
A Jackson judge denied bond for a third suspect, Michaela Young, during her initial court appearance this morning.
This bloodthirsty pick-me girl ended up throwing her entire life away for the validation of a couple scummy guys.
All 3 face capital murder charges. Police say Young drove the 2 men to the home on Queen Alexandria Lane.
When you are bloodthirsty to earn your position in the gang, you will go along with whatever evil plans the men have.
We just want to be very careful so that the persons don't flee, go underground, and so we are other persons of interest and other warrants that will be issued. So we are looking for and have warrants issued for other suspects.
For police, dealing with gangs like the Bloods is difficult because of their street connections. When on the run, they can get away by going to safe houses in other states run by other chapters, which makes the job for police 10 times harder.
More arrests are on the way. Police department expects to make more arrests in the triple homicide that happened last weekend. This comes just one day after Cornelius and Jordan Carter were denied bond for allegedly shooting and killing 25-year-old Kenya Weathersby.
Being a pick-me girl and throwing your whole life away for a couple of average-looking dudes like this makes her look crazy down bad.
And 30-year-old Erica Weathersby and 2-year-old Kamari Gibbons.
This bloodthirsty, evil young lady was part of a vicious slaughter where innocents lost their lives. And all we can do now is hope that the judge will fry her and this evil, deplorable human being will never get the chance to harm anyone else. You know, this pick-me girl is probably doing the most with the guards, but I guarantee if you ask her if it was worth throwing your life away for the acceptance of the most average-looking dudes you will ever find, I guarantee she says it wasn't worth it. At number 4, as a teenager growing up in Los Angeles, Winter Dowling always felt like an outcast because of her mom's addiction and her family's lack of money. She had a tough time getting along with her peers, and because of that, she ended up dropping out in the 10th grade, and she followed her mother's footsteps and started using hardcore illegal substances. During this time, according to court records, Winter gets involved with one of her dealers, a guy named Sean Stovall, who was one of the most feared men in the city and a high-ranking member of the bounty hunter Watts Bloods. Sean had grown very fond of Winter. He looked at her as a prize and something to show off, so he started bringing her to his hood, and he introduced Winter to the other gang members who also ended up really liking her. Over time, her relationship grew with the set. Allegedly, she was hooking up with a couple of different guys at the same time and would come to the hood almost every day to hang out and smoke tree with the Bloods. During this time, her addiction had gotten worse and she was willing to do just about anything to get a little money so she can fuel her habit. When one of their most beloved gang members, a 23-year-old named Kyle White, got gunned down outside of a deli, it did not take long for them to realize that their rivals, the Grape Street Crips, were the ones responsible. This is widely recognized by gang experts and law enforcement as the most violent rivalry in the Watts area. Countless bodies have been dropped as a result of this war, and it has caused tension in the community for decades. For the Bloods, after losing another soldier to this war, made them furious, and it was time for them to get their revenge. This is where Winter comes to play as a very attractive snow bunny. The gang decided they were going to use her good looks to set up one of the rivals, and allegedly they made her a deal that if it was a successful mission, she would get officially initiated into the gang. Next thing you know, Winter starts messaging all the high-ranking members from the Grape Street Crips on Instagram, and a lot of them bit the bait and wanted to make plans to hang out. The next thing the Bloods had to figure out was what members are going to be willing to offer up themselves to be the shooters and risk spending the rest of their life in jail. Typically, the shooter is a role for the younger members trying to get their footing in the gang that want to have some rank. Unfortunately for Winter, around this time, police do a major drug bust, and a lot of the younger bounty hunter Bloods members get taken off the streets and sent to prison.
Two large violent LA street gangs are busted.
FBI agents raided their operations and seized a whole bunch of weapons.
For a major gang takedown.
As police served search warrants at 2 homes today following a month-long investigation targeting suspected gang members.
During the raid, 5 people were arrested. 3 of them, they say, are alleged Bloods gang members.
The breakdown of the gang members arrested are 9 Bloods, 2 Crips, 3 MS-13, 1 Zopound, which is a Haitian gang.
After losing a lot of their members to the legal system, the gang was thinning out, but they still wanted revenge for their lost homie, so they had to figure something out. This is when Winter comes back into the picture, and this bloodthirsty female offers to catch the body herself. The other Bloods laugh at the idea of a snow bunny like her catching a body, but reassure her that if she goes through with the body and is successful, she will become an officially sanctioned member. This is when, according to police records, Sean Stovall, her ex-boyfriend, hands her a strap and tells her to go get busy. Winter then does what she does best and starts messaging a bunch of Grape Street Crips, and later that night a high-ranking member named Tariq Jenkins agrees to hang out. The plan was that Tariq was going to come over to Taylor's apartment for drinks, and allegedly, according to friends and family, Tariq was really excited about the idea of getting intimate with Winter. Allegedly, according to court records, when Tariq arrives to Taylor's apartment, she opens the door with a bottle in her hand, and as soon as he gets in the house, they start taking shots, and after 30 minutes, they are both sloppy drunk. When they run out of booze, Winter sends Tariq to the liquor store down the street, and while he is picking up alcohol, Winter loads her gun and sets the scene for the horrible thing she is about to do. When Tariq walks through the door, Winter sits him down and asks him to help roll a blunt. And while he has his back turned, Winter aims the gun at the back of his head and pulls the trigger, tragically killing Tariq at only 24 years old. Winter was so bloodthirsty and desperate for a body that she was willing to kill someone she had never met. When word got out about what she did, the Bloods were ecstatic, and they ended up throwing a huge party, and at the party they got their homegirls to officially jump her into the gang. This bloodthirsty evil young lady did it. She achieved her lifelong goal. She was finally an official member of the Bloods, and for a little while, life could not be any better. Now that Winter had the respect of an entire nation of Bloods, Winter decided to show out, and she started partying it up like a rock star. And she was hanging out with members from her gang in the hood almost daily. Everyone from the gang loved her and had a lot of respect for Winter because of what she did. Unfortunately for Winter, at her highest and the peak of her life, everything would come crashing down.
A 24-year-old man is dead after police say a gang initiation.
Taylor ends up getting arrested, and this bloodthirsty female gang member gets sentenced to only 15 years in prison. Everyone let me know in the comments section if you think the sentencing was fair or not. At number 3, in 2015, 19-year-old Carly Hanchett chose a path of pure evil and hatred. Rejecting a normal life, she embedded herself into a biker gang called 21, which was a pathetic, hyper-violent group of local criminals and tweakers in Pierce, Colorado. The craziest thing about this biker gang was the fact many of the members didn't even own or ride motorcycles, but they set up a clubhouse like the Hells Angels and acted as if they were a 1%er outlaw biker gang. Carly wasn't a passive girlfriend or a bystander. She was a willing, eager participant in a gang built on methamphetamine, prescription drugs, paranoia, and merciless violence. When 34-year-old Tara Lewandowski allegedly disrespected the group and complained about members stealing her prescription medications, the gang held a meeting and sentenced her to death under their warped 21st law. In their ruthless book of conduct, on September 29, 2015, Hanchett proved just how vicious she was. After hanging out with the guys at the clubhouse and using a copious amount of crystal, they came up with a horrific and evil plan to get revenge for the lady's words of disrespect. While Tara lay asleep and entirely defenseless in her bed, Carly led the assault. She didn't hesitate. She took a heavy metal pipe and brutally began bashing Tara in the head, fracturing her skull and initiating the physical violence. As Tara reeled from the blows, Hanchett called for the other men and watched and assisted as her co-conspirators repeatedly plunged a hunting knife into the victim. After the group got back to the clubhouse, according to reports, Carly could not stop laughing about the incident as she got drunk and celebrated her first confirmed murder. She took shot after shot and was glowing and smiling from ear to ear. This evil young lady was allegedly extremely proud of the horrific murder she just committed. Carly's fierce outlaw loyalty vanished the moment the police closed in. Facing a first-degree murder charge and a lifetime behind bars, she immediately turned informant. She cut a deal and testified against her own gang leader to save herself. On June 9, 2017, Carly was sentenced to 28 years in prison for first-degree murder. She traded her youth and another woman's life for a handful of pills, a fake biker code, and a legacy of pure, unadulterated evil.
A member of a biker gang pleads guilty in the stabbing death of a Pierce woman in 2015.
She is only 19 years old and will be wasting all her best years in a prison cell where this evil young lady belongs.
19-year-old Carly Hanchett is one of 7 people involved in the murder of Tara Lewandowski. In September last year, the victim was reported missing after not showing up for a doctor's appointment. Her body was found in April, nearly 100 miles away.
A few months of fun and being the tough, cool girl in a biker gang in exchange for 28 years in prison seems like a terrible trade-off. Good thing we got her off the streets, because it is one thing to use a firearm in a murder, but it is a completely different level of evil for someone to repeatedly bash an innocent lady's head in as she cries and begs for her life. At number 2.
2 teenagers were lured to their deaths nearly 4 years ago.
Now police have accused a then-teenage girl of putting them in the gunman's sights.
Both these young men were good students and really good kids that were robbed and killed for absolutely no reason other than greed, which shows just how evil this young lady was.
Angel Ray Garcia and 19-year-old Gregorio Ricardo Cordova Mejia were found shot multiple times at an apartment complex off Pleasanton Road.
Make sure you guys are always careful when linking up with a girl you met on the internet. If you have never met her before, it is hard to be a judge of character, and it is extremely dangerous bringing her to your house.
It was early morning, July 2022. San Antonio police responding to a call of shots fired. Down here, they find 19-year-old Gregorio Ricardo Cordova Mejia.
This evil, bloodthirsty young lady was desperate to impress the Latin kings, so she set up 2 young men to get slumped and robbed.
Upstairs, between those 2 apartments, they find 15-year-old Angel Ray Garcia.
After dating a member of the Latin kings, Angie had become obsessed with the culture and eventually ended up officially joining the set. This bloodthirsty female was desperate to go up the ranks and was willing to do just about anything to get the acceptance of the Latin kings.
Now, San Antonio police say a then 17-year-old Angie Morales had lured them here.
This evil, bloodthirsty woman knew the men were going to get slaughtered and still invited them over, and allegedly was laughing with her boyfriend over text about the massacre that happened.
A confidential informant told them Angie Morales had colluded with others to rob the teens. Informant gave police Morales' Instagram username.
Not only is she a horrific human being, but she is also a catfish. That profile pic is deceiving.
SATX.Angie. Investigators checked Cordova Mejia's phone and found he had been communicating with that account, which had set the meeting with the building number where the teens were killed.
This is going to be a tough case for her to beat in the courtroom. Hopefully the judge will fry her and keep this bloodthirsty savage off the streets.
The last message came minutes before shots were fired.
Since this is Texas, and she is responsible for the death of 2 young men, if she was a little older, she would likely be facing the death penalty. Because of her age, she will most likely serve life in prison. If this was California, she would be out in 10 years max.
Morales telling Cordova Mejia to wait, and she was coming out. Police say the name and birthday tied to the Instagram account is the same Angie Morales the informant had identified.
You gotta always love the undercover informants. Your best friend that you kick it with every day in the streets will be the same one that points you out in the courtroom and helps the judge slap you with a 50-piece.
And a number associated with the account is the same one the informant gave them. And the phone tied to that number was in the area of the murder when it occurred. Under Texas law, the now 21-year-old Morales is considered a party to the crime and faces a capital murder charge.
My prayers and condolences go out to the family, friends, and loved ones of these 2 young men who never got to live their life or order a beer at a bar because of this evil young lady. At number 1.
An accused killer in a crop top, a Colombian hit woman along with her accomplice, now under arrest in connection to multiple murders in that South American country. Spanish media outlet says she carried out the killings for a gang. Rodriguez was known to lead hitmen who wreaked havoc in that region.
At the center of the chaotic turf war that has claimed the lives of hundreds in Colombia is a 22-year-old woman who looks more like a social media influencer than a hit woman turned shot caller. Her name is Karen Juliet Ojeda Rodriguez, better known as La Muñeca, the doll. Karen didn't just work for any street crew. She was the alleged second in command of Los de la M, a violent criminal group battling for absolute control over the highly profitable drug trafficking market in Colombia.
Was a
feared and elite hitwoman in Colombia, so notorious she'd been given the nickname the Doll. But now she's behind bars for an alleged hit against her ex-boyfriend.
She had been getting away with crimes for years, but when it came to her ex-boyfriend, she didn't have any patience and was sloppy.
22-year-old Karen Ojeda Rodriguez. She's allegedly part of a Colombian gang called Los de la M.
This organization is one of the most feared and powerful groups in all of Colombia.
The group is known for being dominant in their specific region of Colombia, fighting with other gangs for control of all the criminal activity, specifically drug trafficking. In this region, there have been more than 120 murders in 2024, and several have been pretty high profile.
She was not just there for her good looks. This powerful young lady was a real-life hitwoman.
So here's where Rodriguez specifically comes in. She's apparently been part of this gang since she was about 18 years old. She worked her way up, if that's what you want to call it, to becoming a criminal hitwoman.
When she was much younger, she used to be the one either using her good looks to set up rivals or literally going and doing the hit herself. Because of this, she demanded respect and built up a reputation for herself in the streets, and eventually the hitwoman became the shot caller, and she was the one sending out hits. Because of all the power she had, it got to her head, and she used her power to get her ex-boyfriend chipped.
In this particular instance, Rodriguez is accused of coordinating a hit on her ex-boyfriend. According to local news outlets, her ex-partner was a man named Davy Jesus, known in the gang world as Orejas, or ears. So Rodriguez apparently orchestrated the hit against him, as two other men drove by on motorcycles shooting at him.
When she got into an argument with her ex-boyfriend over some money, she felt disrespected, so she greenlighted him and sent some of her street soldiers on a crash-out mission.
This was allegedly a part of a money dispute between Ears and the Doll.
Really quick, guys, before we get to the next section, if you enjoy this content, stop what you're doing, drop a like, hit that follow button, and leave a comment. It really helps small creators such as myself to make a little extra money to help pay for my kids in this rough economy. In this next section, we look at annoying, bloodthirsty female gang members that think they are better than everyone. At number 5, Chapa T is a bloodthirsty crip that is one of the most gangsta girls in the streets of Memphis.
Look like one of them. One of them ones.
While she might have a little bit of a drug problem, Chapa T is still considered a queen in the streets of Memphis.
One of nine. One of nine. One of nine. Oh, yeah. Honey blue. Bust it like a whippy. Hop on top and I go silly. I like brr, 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 brr. Why would I give out my drops? You sound crazy. You sound idiotic right now.
She then breaks down her gang affiliations, and while she has never worked a job in her life, she is very proud of the fact she used to be an official Choppa Gang member.
Like, is you Choppa Gang, or like, you know what I'm saying, or affiliated with NLE Choppa?
No, I'm not affiliated with NLE Choppa. I'm a former Choppa Gang member.
She is so proud of the fact she is a former Choppa Gang member, as if there is something cool about hooking up with a bunch of low-lifes from a gang and then claiming that gang.
But I just wanted to carry my name along with me because it was already like stuck to me. I grew on to it. So I just kept the Choppa T name.
Okay, so when you saying you're a former member, like when you was actually, you know what I'm saying, Choppa Gang?
Yeah.
Like around Pooh Shiesty now, Choppa Gang?
Pooh Shiesty.
She is smiling from ear to ear as if she is talking about the greatest accomplishment of her life. Being in Choppa Gang is the thing she is most proud of in life.
Was you like the first female? Or was it other female?
Yes, other females.
But you stood out.
Nah, I ain't gonna say no, I stood out.
Real talk.
Wow, what an amazing role model for the youth. I am sure her parents are so proud of her. That is a huge accomplishment, being one of the first females in Choppa Gang. You guys let me know in the comment section what you think she had to do to become an official member of the prestigious group of doctors and lawyers that call themselves Choppa Gang. At number 4, Big Topic is a high-ranking Crip gang member that is bloodthirsty in these streets and known for putting in pain on her rivals. When she is not out in the streets going on drills, you will find her either using illegal substances or at your local diner acting crazy.
Hey y'all, I am in the diner right now, right? Y'all, I'm in the diner right now. I ain't never been in this diner a day in my life. I've never seen this man to my right to y'all left because you're watching on the phone right now. Do this man look like he is my daddy? Look at this man right here, man.
She has got a whole lot of masculine features, Loki. She looks just like Little Dirk.
Look at this man, he right here. He's still here.
He is the father.
Does this man look like my dad, man, or what, man?
Inviting some random guy at a diner that you have never met back to your house to film a video is some of the craziest behavior I have ever seen.
This look like my dad or what, man? Y'all gotta tell us in the comments, man. Do we need to get a DNA test, man? This is my dad, man. I think he probably was a Rolling Stone, and I think my mama might have been popping on out. Listen, man.
Still a Rolling Stone.
Exactly. Let me know in the comments, man. Yeah, my sister might be in the comments.
On a second note, when you look like this, you don't have to worry about anyone trying to mess with you. The random guy she brought back to her house knew just by looking at her that she is not the one to play with. While she might look like Little Dirk deep down, she is an old schoolgirl that appreciates gender roles and wants a man at the head of the table and for the man to be the main one providing income while his wife cooks and cleans.
King, if she's not making sure that house is clean, that food is cooked, and them kids is taken care of and checking on your mental, what are you with her for? The same thing you can tell a woman, what are you with this man for if he can't even buy you a flower?
If a man cannot afford to buy you one single flower, then chances are that man is homeless. And you are right, that is probably not the kind of guy you should be dating. To be fair though, men that date women that look like Lil Durk probably can only afford 3 flowers at best, so do not get your expectations too high.
He can't take you on no dates, he's not covering no bills, and he's not making you feel secure nor safe. What are you with him for?
I am not going to lie, if I'm dating a girl that looks like this, she is going to be the one doing the protecting. I am going to use this bloodthirsty Crip to deal with all my confrontations. Who is going to lip box and argue with a girl that looks like this?
Last, because I'm the type of female, I'm going to need a couple rounds. It better be equivalent to about an hour or more.
Imagine waking up next to this face every morning. You've got to feel safe and secure, knowing no matter where you go, if anyone disrespects you, that you can call up your girl that just so happens to be a bloodthirsty Crip and she will take care of whatever problems you have. The only thing that was able to break this bloodthirsty female Crip was a terrible record deal that she signed, and she ended up breaking down on Instagram Live and started crying as she begged to get out of her contract.
Beg that man, bruh. On the Bible, man, I begged that man and his wife not to do me like this, bro. And they literally turned around less than 48 hours later and did me exactly how I wish that they didn't, bruh. And it's like, if I don't speak up, and I don't tell my story, and I don't shine light on this, bro, it's gonna be people still signed to them that can't get out of these deals because people be scared to speak up.
All jokes aside, if someone really did sign her to a bad contract and is screwing her out of whatever little money she could be making, that is seriously wrong. And with Dirk in jail, we need some music to feed the streets.
And I'm getting DMs and texts from fake investigators and people trying to call me and tell me that they know where I stay. I'm getting told that these people are part of a bloodline and I gotta be careful with the attorneys that I'm dealing with.
Hopefully this bloodthirsty Crip can get out of her contract and return to the streets because we need some new music. At number 3, Stunna Girl is a bloodthirsty female gang member that used her good looks to join the Bloods, and now she is a high-ranking member with a lot of respect in the hood. After she officially joined the gang, a lot of her old friends started hating and talking bad about her behind her back. Especially her old bestie Jalik from No Jumper.
And what's going on with Stunna Girl?
It's a lot going on, Adam. It's been a lot of static on the internet in regards to Jaleese and Stunna Girl. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying?
Yes, Jalik, we know what you are saying. You do not have to keep asking.
And yeah, it's been a lot of media coverage in regards to the Northern California scene. We're both from Sacramento, and
this time I am not sure what you are saying. That is some really broken English.
And you know what I'm saying? The bitch went to Stockton in 21-degree weather with a Figueroa outfit on, and I said what I said. You know what I'm saying? It's 21 degrees in Stockton, California, puff coats and ski mask and murder ones. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's 21 degrees in Stockton, California. You got on a Figueroa outfit.
I feel my IQ going down the more I hear Jalik speak. You know what I'm saying?
Just because I could talk and they listen, I don't have to make a rap song. Exactly. It's all stemming from the EBK, J-Bo.
You can tell she has got that opiate itch. Just look at the way she keeps scratching herself like a complete fiend.
She always been a hood hopping bitch. She ain't never been on one side of the fence. She's gonna go where the clout is. She doesn't tell nobody that she's $1 million in debt.
The reason this is important is because a couple years ago, there was a really viral video of Stun a Girl when she signed her $1 million contract. And all her broke friends like Jalik were still stuck in the hood, and they started hating on her behind her back.
Congratulations, Stun Girl. You are officially signed to Stun Girl Media, and you are in a deal with Capital Music Group for over $1 million.
When this hit the internet and her old friends saw it, jealousy started clouding their minds, and they started hating on her nonstop.
He talking about how everybody's broke, but the bitch ain't ever showed not one mansion besides when she was with Trey Moolah and them CPN Airbnbs. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We can really get to it. You know what I'm saying? And now she been in Sacramento and Stockton. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it's like rappers got to put on this persona. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying?
Let me know in the comment section how many times she said you know what I'm saying. Whoever gets the exact number right will win a prize.
She doesn't have the funds. She's $1 million in debt, like I said.
So are you planning to meet up with her for a Dejan Paul style fade?
I want that.
Hopefully these two bloodthirsty gang members can solve their differences with a fade, and hopefully this doesn't have to go any further. You know what I'm saying? At number 2. When it comes to snow bunny steppers and goons, there's no one that has put in as much work on the streets as the female suburban street legend V Nasty. This bloodthirsty gang member is a legend in the streets. From the gritty streets of East Oakland, this snow bunny had it rough growing up.
Oakland was it was hard, you feel me? I mean, my two parents was together. You know what I'm saying? I had both my parents.
Yes, we know what you were saying, and no, I don't want to feel you, so you don't have to keep checking in every 5 to 10 seconds.
My mom had a cool job, you feel me? You feel me? Be growing up with two parents.
Growing up with two happily married parents with good paying jobs seems really rough. I can see why you would have wanted to enter the streets and join a gang. It makes perfect sense to me.
And in the hood, it was just like, I was raised like everybody else in the hood, you feel me? Like,
seriously, I don't want to feel you. So please stop asking respectfully. You don't need to repeat the same thing over and over again every 10 seconds.
It wasn't no difference. I just seen shootings, robberies. I mean, I jumped off the porch. Me actually starting getting money, I jumped off the porch at 12. Feel me? So, I was in the streets. It was hard for a white girl.
It must be really tough being a white girl in America. I can only imagine all the struggles you went through growing up in a two-parent household where both your parents have good paying jobs.
Actually, it's not that many white girls out there, you know what I'm saying? There's about 4 or 5 white girls I know personally that rock, you feel me? Go stupid, get their money, everything.
Being a snow bunny driller comes at a cost, and V Nasty has found herself in and out of jail because of her Caucasian gangbanging. And in this next clip, we get to see V Nasty celebrating her first day out of jail.
Hey, we out here, you feel me? Free V Nasty. Out here, you feel me?
Let me know in the comment section exactly how many times this bloodthirsty suburban goon says the words "you feel me."
Feel me? Free V Nasty, you know. I got you a cigarette. Hey, got some weed in the car, girl. I am fresh out this outside.
I actually have no idea what you're talking about. You speak some of the most broken English I have ever heard without captions. I wouldn't be able to understand one word that you say other than "you feel me" and "you know what I'm saying." That's all I'm getting from you.
You got this V Nasty here live, you feel me? We out here, we finna get cracking. Fresh out, you feel me? We out. Fresh out. They just did it in 6 months.
For a snow bunny stepper, 6 months is considered hard time.
Hey, what you want? Hey, look at you all icy getting out of jail. Look done though. Where is the syrup at? And my baby daddy didn't come with y'all?
Did she just ask if her baby daddy came? I'm not going to lie, I was convinced she was playing for the other team.
Okay. Let's take one last look. Your old house. Your old house. How does it feel?
Don't take a picture of that old house.
How to jail icy though? That's what I want to know. Because how you really come out icy? I mean, nasty.
Great job remembering your name. You are correct. You are V Nasty.
OGs love me in it. OGs love me in it.
Hopefully she can stay out of trouble, because the last thing we need is to lose an inspirational person like this to the criminal justice system. And in this last clip, we get to see what a day in the life of a backwards flat brim hat wearing Caucasian girl consists of. Because trust me, all white girls with flat brim hats are the same.
And Lil Weezy, you don't please me. Lick my not give me money. That's all I want.
While walking around East Oakland, she sees a homeless man playing the guitar, and she uses that as an opportunity to show off her incredible rapping skills.
Smoke on the boat. And sip on some boat.
Next, we get to see her harassing and profiling some random guys who are just trying to walk down the street and go about their day.
Excuse me. Excuse me. I got a problem with it. Oh, he looked like he's tight. What's up with y'all? Y'all thugs, huh?
Imagine walking down the street and getting profiled and harassed like this. You have got to feel bad for these poor guys who are just minding their business and going about their day.
He said, y'all from the hood? Y'all from the town? You from the town? Where you from? Hey, you gonna get it over?
Actually.
You mad? Have your number? Hey.
If Desperate and Down Bad was a person, chances are this is what they would look like after all that. Asking for his number is diabolical.
Hey! Tell your sister, tell your mom, don't wait for you. Answer your phone. Hey, answer your phone. I'm calling you. Hey, what's up?
After harassing countless people walking down the street that clearly wanted nothing to do with her, she stops what she is doing and takes the time to vibe out with some strangers.
D-Town, from O-Town, O-A-K land. Wanna play? Then he'll get sprayed, man.
Wow, she seems pretty tough. I want no smoke with her.
Hello, my name is Ness. They call me Ness.
That was incredibly awkward. I think she was just standing outside her car talking to herself. She desperately wants the validation of African Americans, and in this next clip she flexes a handshake from an African American she was able to capture on camera, so she can bring this video back to the burbs and show it off to all her friends.
Right there. Duh. I got Dub right now, too. Duh.
Look at how proud she is to finally get that handshake. You can tell she's been trying to get one of those for years. Now in this last clip, we get to see more of her incredible rapping skills.
Flying in the sky, getting real high off this purple. I'm looking down at all the pounds, looking down at all the trees. I get a lot of money, I get a lot of on sixes. They like me in Benzes, they want me to be their friends. I told them.
At number 1. If you are a woman out there in the streets, gangbanging and committing evil crimes against innocent civilians, the number one thing judges and the jury care about is how pretty you are.
This mugshot of a woman arrested by Fresno police is getting a lot of attention on the internet. Some have even offered to pay her bail because they find her attractive.
It is crazy how far thirsty guys will go if they think they have any chance with a halfway decent-looking girl.
But what's the story behind the picture? Police say she's a gang member and had a loaded gun when she was pulled over with her baby in the car.
Despite her being a deplorable human being and an awful mother that was riding around California with a bunch of gang members blicked up all while putting her baby at risk, nobody seems to care because of her pretty face.
CBS 47's Matt Mendez joins us live at the Fresno County Jail. Matt, this is kind of an odd story. Can anyone just bail her out?
Crime in America is only for the pretty girls. If you are a female living in America and you decide to get involved with crime, make sure you've got a pretty face on you or a big old wagon you can use to distract the judge. Otherwise, nobody is going to help bail you out, and the judge is going to fry you when it's time for sentencing.
Anyone could bail her out as long as they had the money, but they'd be putting a lot on the line because if she does not appear for future court dates, then they could be forced to pay up to more than $150,000.
Imagine spending all that money and she still doesn't let you crack. That might officially qualify you as the simp of the year.
This mugshot has been turning heads on social media. Her neck heavily tattooed, showing the words, "Love is pain." And below that, pain is pleasure.
If your girl has a giant pain is pleasure tattoo, that is a giant red flag.
Detectives arrested Ponce Monday. Gang officers pulled her over on East White near Fresno. Baby and 2 other gang members inside the car. She was booked into jail on a felony.
If she was not so good looking, she would have definitely lost custody of that baby. She is clearly a danger to that child in society if she is riding around blicked up with a bunch of gang members with her toddler sitting in the back seat.
Possession of a loaded firearm within a vehicle. And again, she had her infant child with her.
I can guarantee you with 100% certainty that if this was the mugshot from her arrest, that nobody would be offering to pay her bail.
Fresno police posted her photo to Facebook. It's been shared close to 4,000 times, received dozens of comments, and more than 2,000 likes and reactions.
Social media really has ruined the world. This is completely out of pocket.
Sotero wrote, "The only crime she committed was stealing my heart." Chanel wrote, "All about her looks and not about the child in the car or the fact she's a gang member carrying a gun with other gang members." Another person offered to pay her bail.
The only person that had the slightest bit of sense was a female in the comment section. Shout out to her for acknowledging how dangerous it is for a mother to be riding around with an illegal strap in a car full of gang members with her infant in the back seat.
Bondsman Charles Vank says there's a liability for the person who pays for the bail.
You have to know and you have to trust that person in jail, that he or she is going to do the right thing.
If you are stupid enough to bail her out of jail, then you deserve to lose your money.
If the inmate misses court, you could be stuck paying the entire bail amount. For Ponce, that's $155,000.
If anyone loses $155,000 trying to crack, that will be a giant embarrassment to men all across the country.
Legal analyst Charles McGill says her looks could help her in the court of law.
I think the rule of thumb is that judges do go more lenient on women, period, because of the bias. Quite frankly,
the fact that we are unfairly being lenient to dangerous and evil female gang members that are not only putting society at risk, but also their kids just because we think they are pretty is a massive injustice and a giant stain and black cloud that is hovering over our criminal justice system. In this next section, we go to the suburbs, and here we look at the 5 most evil and bloodthirsty female suburban gang members. At number 5,
grandmother is accused of taking a teen on a drive-by shooting. The 15-year-old faces gun charges. The woman was arrested for the shooting.
Mom and her teenage son are behind bars accused of committing a drive-by shooting in North Spokane.
On August 22nd in 2022, according to police, 36-year-old Danielle Anderson and her 15-year-old son, who is affiliated with a suburban chapter of the Treetop Piru Bloods, got the drop on arrival and pulled up with choppers and lit his house up like a Christmas tree.
Several other teens were in that car, including one who lived at the house being targeted.
These suburban gangs only recently started forming around 7 years ago during COVID, and even though they are relatively new, they have been inflicting terror on their communities.
The woman was arrested for the shooting.
Police say the people they were shooting at were someone they knew. It happened on March 17th near Franklin Park, where police say 36-year-old Danielle Anderson.
Allegedly, the beef started with Danielle Anderson because some rival Rolling 40s suburban Crips broke into the main suburban trap house that Danielle Anderson's gang was operating out of, and they tied everyone up, held them at gunpoint, and robbed them of everything they had. When Danielle Anderson got word of what had happened, it was on site, so she called up her son, who was with a bunch of other suburban Piru Bloods, and pulled up to the house of one of the suburban Rolling 40s Crips she heard was involved with the robbery.
36-year-old Danielle Anderson drove by a house while someone in the car shot at it. Police found a car matching the suspected shooters. Officers pulled the car over. Inside were 7 people, including a few teenagers. A 15-year-old had a gun in their backpack and was arrested. Anderson was charged for drive-by shooting and reckless endangerment.
Danielle Anderson is a real stepper, and not long before this happened, she was in another beef with the mother of a rival suburban Rolling 40s Crip. And one day, after an argument outside of a suburban trap house, she pulled up with her son and started dumping and even doubled back to try and make sure she caught a hat.
We've had a lot of issues with her. I didn't think it would escalate to her wanting to kill us over nothing.
Danielle Anderson earned her rank as a general in the suburban Treetop Piru Bloods because of her willingness to slide over any levels of disrespect.
Started March 13th when Christy got a call from Spokane police,
telling us to pick up our daughter, that she was involved in a felony hit and run.
Allegedly, this lady has both a son and daughter that are affiliated with the Rolling 40s suburban Crips.
Another mom named Danielle got involved.
It was like a big altercation. She said that she was a Piru gang member, a blood gang member, and that she was going to shoot up my house, she was going to kill us. And I didn't take her seriously because she's a mom.
A lot of people do not take these new suburban gangs seriously until it's too late. And some suburban mom with yoga pants and Uggs driving a minivan has a blicky with a switch dangling out the window, pointed at you, and she's dumping. I am sure a lot of you guys don't fully believe this story or think it's some type of satire, and I wish it was, but this is 100% real, and I encourage all of you to look it up on Google after you finish watching the video, and you will see this is not some type of joke. This is actually what is happening in the suburbs.
4 days later, bullets ripped through her house.
I heard gunshots at 10:30 at night. I was in bed.
Christy got out of bed and went to the living room and saw the SUV circle back.
I think that they were shooting at my car that time.
Christy says she recognized the car as Danielle's.
Danielle has put in more work for the suburban treetop bloods than most of your favorite drill rappers could dream of.
She called 911, and a short time later, Spokane police pulled it over. They say Danielle was in the driver's seat.
I'm shocked. I'm still completely shocked.
At number 4, this next upper-class Caucasian queenpin had 10 kids and a bad habit she was supporting through the distribution of illegal substances.
Mother among those caught up in a drug trafficking operation.
Of federal raids and arrests connected to an illegal narcotics ring that led to a man's death.
This filthy rich suburban mama goon was the main plug in her suburban hood.
This is one of the homes where 2 people were arrested. It's one of several high-dollar homes in Highland Park that were raided yesterday.
When suburban mama goons get that itch for excitement and they start to yearn the criminal lifestyle, there is nothing you can do about it.
Authorities say a group of 10 men and women were trafficking illegal drugs, including fentanyl.
As a brother, it's sad to see that Caucasians have followed our lead and are now poisoning their communities just like we do.
They were exposed when a Collin County man suffered a fatal overdose.
Depending on the state, you can sometimes get murder charges when this kind of thing happens, so unfortunately for this suburban mama goon, if I had to guess, she will end up sitting in prison for an extended period of time. Hopefully she has a lot of money saved up from all that trafficking she was doing so she can support those 10 kids she is responsible for while she is behind bars.
Gina Bishop Corwin is among those indicted on 7 counts involving drugs and weapons charges.
Not only did she flip work, but she was also strapped up with choppas and blickies and ready to fill up a rival rich suburban mom full of slugs.
The 51-year-old developer and mother of 10 children was arrested at her Highland Park home. 50-year-old Gary Colin Bussell and his girlfriend were also arrested when the...
What is going on with these rich white folks in the suburbs? Why are y'all acting like us and thinking the streets are cool? We don't have any money, that's why we do it. That and the garbage music we call drill rap that influences and poisons our youth. But if you're living in a multi-million-dollar mansion, then there literally is no excuse to be trapping and poisoning your own community.
Feds raided his townhome, which is also in Highland Park. They are among those accused of conspiring to traffic narcotics starting in 2014. The operation became exposed last December when Fairview police responded to this apartment complex in the Collin County town. A 30-year-old man was found dead.
This is why the streets are trash weather. You are living in a giant mansion in the burbs or a trap house in South Central. It always ends the same way with jail or death.
A 30-year-old man was found dead inside his apartment from a fatal dose of fentanyl. It was eventually traced back to those who are now facing federal charges.
30 years old is a very young age to lose your life. My prayers and condolences go out to his family.
The indictments reveal that the 10 accused did knowingly and intentionally combine, conspire, and agree to distribute and possess with the intent to distribute. The 10 of those indicted face up to 20 years in prison if convicted.
By covering stories like this, I have familiarized myself with the criminal justice system in America, and the unfortunate reality is that these men are about to get fried by the judge, and the woman is only going to get a slap on the wrist. At number 3,
mother is in jail tonight. She's accused of giving illegal drugs to neighborhood teenagers.
Nowadays, middle-aged mama goons have taken over the trap in the burbs, and they lack any morals and are willing to flip product to anyone who is down to buy.
We've uncovered something else in her background, too.
That would be stealing from a friend in La Mesa about 2 years ago. Something similar on this latest set of charges, number 37, theft by deception.
Not only was this mama goon a trapper, but she was also a jackboy that would finesse her friends out of their money.
The local APS Foundation was created to help at-risk kids in honor of a star athlete in high school and college who went on to play professional football, then going into coaching and administration at Sweetwater High. His daughter, Kimberly Kwok, a vice president for the not-for-profit, now accused of felony child abuse. as well as supplying illegal drugs to teens, including Xanax and marijuana.
Kimberly, instead of following her father's footsteps, always felt more like a goon, and that is why she got involved in trapping for fun.
Kwok lives near Cathedral Catholic High School in a nice neighborhood. The car in the driveway sporting a Cathedral license plate frame and window sticker. Neighbors shocked at her arrest, but also recalling a loud party about a year ago when police made an earlier visit.
Kimberly, on top of being a trap queen, was a huge party mom and hosted a giant party house where she would throw ragers.
We have friends that live on the opposite side of the street here, and they did complain that they've had beer bottles and things that were actually thrown over the wall and had been broken in the backyard coming out of that home.
Being the beer-slugging party mom that she is known to leave beer cans scattered all over her yard.
The Cathedral principal sent an email to parents about the arrest and ongoing investigation, asking for cooperation.
I don't know too much about the story. I didn't know too much about it before, so yeah, I'm just happy that Cathedral notified the parent.
This mama goon has had troubles with the law her whole life.
Brushed with the law last year, arrested for writing bad checks against the account of a high school friend. She pleaded guilty. Quote, "I unlawfully obtained personal property of another with intent to defraud. I also took the property of another in excess of $950.
While suburban moms might smile and look friendly, do not get blinded by the pearly whites. Suburban mamas are sly like a fox and trying to finesse you out of all your money.
Kwok is being held at Las Colinas. Bail is $200,000. If she is convicted, prison term could be more than 60 years.
At number 2. If you think it is sweet in the suburbs, this next story is going to completely change your mind. We all know middle-aged suburban moms love popping pills, especially Xannies. Suburban moms also love getting sloppy drunk, and they are always drinking a bunch of red wine and hard liquor like a sailor. Their scumbag kids lounge around all day at the pool, at their parents' million-dollar mansions, and to make a little money on the side, they sell illegal substances at the local high schools. And when it comes to suburban rivalries and beefs, suburban families get deadly. This next family in Ohio, one by one, picked off members from a rival suburban family until they slaughtered the entire family tree.
Arrested in connection with the murders of 8 people in rural Ohio in 2016. George Billy Wagner, his wife Angela, and their sons George and Edward were arrested Tuesday. Authorities said they killed 7 members of another family and 1 other person.
The dispute originated over a disagreement over custody over the son's daughter, but after the father got jumped by the rival family's cousins. This suburban family was standing on business and wanted all the smoke and kept sliding back to back, and one by one, they started picking off all the rivals until they erased the entire family tree.
Prosecutors described the murders as meticulously planned. The Wagners are each facing 8 counts of aggravated murder, 1 count for each victim. Authorities could not confirm a motive, but said the custody of a young child may have been a factor.
The thought process was that if you kill off the entire family tree, then by default you will get custody of the little girl.
He's the head of a family accused of carrying out a slaughter. A husband, his wife, and their 2 sons stand accused.
This was an entire suburban family full of nothing but steppers and goons.
The charge, the execution of 8 members of a rival family.
It was a horrible tragedy with 8 members of a family being totally wiped out, killed execution style.
Low-key, these white suburban families have deadlier steppers than us black folks. That entire family was full of drillers ready to slide on their rivals.
The slayings in Peebles, Ohio in April 2016 horrified the nation.
This is clearly not the kind of family you want to cross.
Well planned and well executed. That's a word from the sheriff in the Ohio County, where many residents today are living in fear.
It is pretty remarkable that they were able to get away with 8 murders before police finally realized what was going on.
Leonard Manley lost his 38-year-old daughter, Dana Roden, in the massacre.
I lost a daughter, a granddaughter, 2 grandsons, a son-in-law, and a real good friend, and another good friend.
Your heart has to go out to this poor guy. Nobody deserves to lose their entire family over a custody dispute.
You lost that many people. We lost 8 people.
The victims ranged in age from 16 to 44. The houses in which they lived were all targeted.
How do you possibly get this many crash outs all in the same family? They were all certified steppers, even including the mom. In this next clip, you get to hear audio of the pure terror the family was experiencing at the crime scene as they were desperately waiting for police to arrive.
Blood all over the house. Okay. My brother-in-law's in the bedroom. It looks like I beat the hell out of him.
It ended up taking police 2 long years to finally put an end to the one-by-one slayings of this poor family.
Now, after a 2-year investigation, arrests have finally been made. George Wagner, who appeared in court today, his wife, Angela Wagner, their son, George, their son, Edward. That's not all.
In this family, even the grannies are certified goons that are out there in the streets hunting ops and catching bodies.
2 Wagner family grannies have also been charged.
To get any respect in this family, you need to have at least 1 or 2 bodies under your belt.
The dad was arrested in Kentucky.
But I will ask at this time if you are willing to acknowledge your identity and that you are indeed George Washington Wagner III, who was born in Ohio.
I'm George Washington Wagner III, I guess I am.
When they felt the walls closing in on them, this family thought they were slick, and they moved all the way to Alaska to try and avoid detection by law enforcement.
The Wagners actually moved 4,000 miles to Alaska last year to get away from whispers about their involvement. But authorities now say the motive was more personal and connected to a bitter custody battle over a little girl.
Your heart has to go out to that poor child who now has to grow up without any family.
The child in question is little Sophia Wagner, the daughter of suspect Edward Wagner. The child's mother, Hannah Roden, was one of those slain in the massacre. The Wagners were said to be obsessed and fixated about getting custody of Sophia.
Thankfully, this young girl is away from this crazy family, and hopefully she is now getting the care and love she deserves.
The 2 grandmothers could face the death penalty. Their lawyer says they're innocent.
At number 1. No matter what you do for your suburban wife, if deep down she's a goon at some point, her inner mama goon is going to come out, and there's nothing you can do to stop it.
I feel like I had everything that any woman would ever want.
Even though she lived a privileged lifestyle and had everything you could possibly want, her inner goon had started taking over, and she couldn't fight off the urge to become a suburban mama jack boy.
From the outside, it appeared that way. Melissa Bergman, an Army vet turned stay-at-home mom. She lived in this Mason subdivision with her husband and 2 children. But inside,
I felt like my life was going nowhere. I felt like I had nothing to look forward to in life.
Her kids and hardworking and amazing loving husband just wasn't enough. She felt like they were nothing. And deep down, all she ever wanted in life was to be a middle-aged female Caucasian goon.
I felt like I had nothing to look forward to in life.
As if you don't have a loving family waiting for you at home.
last summer, she found excitement when she swiped a package from a neighbor's porch. She put it in her minivan.
And that's when the urge started getting worse and worse and worse.
Her inner goon had started taking over her life deep down. She always knew she wanted nothing more in life than to become a jack boy.
And I couldn't control it. The next day I did have my children, and that's when we just went all day.
During her crime spree, she absolutely terrorized the burbs, and countless yoga mats and vegan recipe cookbooks went missing.
I pulled right into the driveway, walked right up to the door, didn't look for security cameras, and just grabbed the box when I saw it.
And if nobody ever caught this suburban jack boy, who knows how many packages would have gone missing.
Everything. The thrill, the excitement of looking to see what was in the box, not like I was selling it, not like I needed it.
Just like any other jack boy, she loved the thrill of hitting licks.
The thrill, the excitement of looking to see what was in the box.
Hopefully moving forward, this suburban mom is better able to control her inner goon.
I'm like, what was I thinking?
In this next section, we look at the worst of the worst, and in this section, we cover 5 bloodthirsty female gang members that represent pure evil. At number 5, when thinking of the most horrific and evil human beings on this earth, this next deplorable human being, who goes by the name Carmen Aguilar, is a female MS-13 gang member and a horrific and evil individual who needs to spend the rest of her days in a prison cell.
An MS-13 gang member has been arrested in Aberdeen, tied to the murders of a 20-year-old woman over the summer. Police say the suspect is also just 17 years old.
At 17, you are more than old enough to know the difference between right and wrong.
DNA evidence helped make this arrest. Tell us more.
Hi, Vic. It did. Now, that is why we are getting an arrest warrant nearly 6 months after the fact. Police say it takes some time to process this kind of evidence, but as soon as they were able to make a connection, they were quick to make an arrest.
The victim of this crime, a 20-year-old completely innocent victim named Kayla, was slaughtered for absolutely no reason. Carmen Aguilar slaughtered this poor young lady just so she could brag to her degenerate gang members that she caught a body.
20-year-old Kayla, she was found strangled in her mobile home on July 27th. Police say the suspect was identified early in the investigation, a 17-year-old undocumented immigrant from El Salvador.
Breaking into someone's home and strangling them for no reason is about as evil as you can get.
They had federal partners help link to MS-13. To DNA evidence at the crime scene, Kayla is originally from Virginia. Most of her family is still there. I talked with her mother on Zoom. She's relieved an arrest has been made, but the pain from losing Kayla, it's still too much.
It's got to be unbearable, the amount of pain and suffering this poor family must be feeling over this senseless and horrific act of brutality.
Like, why? I know there's no reason why, because people just do evil stuff to people every day. But she didn't deserve any of this.
One of the most ironic and sad things about this story was, according to friends and family, Kayla was a very loving young lady that was extremely anti-ICE and would even frequent rallies fighting for the rights of illegal immigrants.
The suspect is facing murder, robbery, and several other charges. Now, while this arrest, it has brought some closure to Kayla's family, but for police, it is a big step in solving a case they've been working on for months.
My prayers and condolences go out to Kayla's family, friends, and loved ones. This was a horrific tragedy that should have never happened, and the definition of pure evil. At number 4, when thinking of the most bloodthirsty female gang members, you have got to look at this next beautiful gang leader that was running a gang of thugs committing break-ins with a tight iron fist, and when police pulled her in for questioning, she kept it solid and did not say a word.
Police telling us they may be one step closer in a months-long investigation to taking down the operation. Novi police catching the suspect in the act, who they believe is involved in multiple break-ins and robberies across Oakland County.
This evil young lady would prey on the most vulnerable population, such as the elderly, and she would wipe their bank accounts clean and use the money she made to fuel her addictions.
That major arrest of a suspect that police say is involved in a transnational gang robbing high-end homes.
And no surprise, the suspected thief isn't talking.
Unlike in America, in South America, where these women are from, if you get caught talking to police, they will kill one of your family members. So when police put the pressure on her, she did something no American male gangsters do, and she kept it solid and didn't say a word.
21-year-old Vania Herrera Valdez, busted by police who say just after 7 p.m. on December 2nd, she and others set off a surveillance camera at a home here on Equestrian Trail. She helped commit a home break-in in Novi and could be behind a handful of others. We're showing you this mugshot of a suspected member of a South American transnational gang.
If it were not for a paranoid homeowner that was constantly checking his surveillance cameras, this bloodthirsty and ambitious female gang member might still be free.
He noted some people in his backyard at his home.
3 other suspects, including some caught on camera, managed to get away after running out of a white van with out-of-state plates.
An alert homeowner who was out of his house for the evening, and he was paying attention to his phone when he got an alert from his alarm system.
And police say Valdez has refused to cooperate with them.
She had an extremely lengthy criminal record and was allegedly involved in multiple murders from her home country, where she allegedly used her good looks to set up men.
She faces as much as 15 years behind bars if convicted of home invasion and resisting arrest. Police also say be mindful that these thieves can use technology to eliminate Wi-Fi to disrupt a security system.
At least they caught someone.
Is it disturbing to you to know that 3 people still got away?
Yeah, it is actually. I'm surprised they haven't caught them yet.
She gave our officers what turned out to be false identification.
I'm mostly scared for my parents since I'm away at college, but I hope everyone is okay. And
Our partners at Immigration and Customs were able to positively identify her as a Chilean national.
I think we can all agree that criminals like this are not the kind of people we should be opening our borders for.
They tell me, according to Immigration and Customs Enforcement, she is a Chilean national in the U.S. illegally with a criminal record.
At number 3,
A woman accused of luring 4 young men to their deaths, allegedly at the hands of MS-13.
When thinking of evil female gang members that deserve to spend the rest of their life in jail, this next female MS-13 gang member is as evil and sadistic as they get.
In the MS-13 murder trial on Long Island.
The jury reached a verdict this morning.
Federal trial filled with heart-stopping evidence, photos, gripping testimony, surveillance phone calls, sobs in the courtroom. 4 weeks ago today began jury selection. Now, fewer than 4 hours into deliberations, a unanimous guilty verdict on all counts. La Diablita, or the Little Devil, as she calls herself on social media, 22-year-old Lenise Escobar was standing trial for quadruple murder.
If your girlfriend or boyfriend's nickname is the Little Devil, that is a massive red flag and not the kind of person you want to be dating.
The accused MS-13 devoted associate charged with luring victims into a Central Islip Park in 2017.
I get it that we all want a baddie, but if some dime piece hits you up out of the blue and she is way out of your league, nothing good will come of it. She is not sliding in your DMs for your great personality. Chances are you are about to get set up just like these poor fellas. And when La Diabolita slid into their Facebook Messenger DMs, these poor jokers all pulled up to the park with the hopes they could crack.
Where they were killed in a brutal MS-13 machete attack.
What happened to these young men was truly horrific, and the definition of evil, and my prayers and condolences go out to all their family, friends, and loved ones.
Prosecutors called 13 witnesses, including several admitted gang members who testified under cooperation agreements, among them Kelly Gomez, a best friend of the defendant, who described how the 2 girls coordinated the killings in order to curry favor within MS-13.
And this is why joining a gang will be the biggest mistake of your life. Everyone is a snitch. All your friends will turn on you. And when you are sitting in a cell serving life for some horrific crime you did to impress a bunch of low-lifes that could care less about you, the only people left in your life is going to be your family. Your former gang member friends are going to be the ones testifying against you to lower their sentences.
Lenise Escobar's boyfriend, whose gang name is Cruel, was a high-ranking member.
If your boyfriend's nickname is Cruel and he ends up being horrific and abusive towards you, I hate to say it, but what did you expect?
Why were these victims chosen for slaughter, say prosecutors? Because they posed on social media disrespecting MS-13.
It was certainly an emotional day in court today. There was chilling testimony from that young man who says he and 4 of his friends were lured into the woods by the young woman who's on trial right now here at the federal courthouse in Central Islip.
A 5th victim testified he escaped that night under a full moon, running for my life, chased by gangsters shouting, "Hack him."
These gang members are straight up out of a horror movie. How much more evil can you get? Her boyfriend Cruel really lived up to his sadistic nickname.
In a recorded phone conversation played in court, Lenise Escobar tells her boyfriend in coded language,
Estos sujetos ya no están aquí, no sé si van a volver nunca, jamás, ¿me entiendes? Se fueron en el tren anoche, ¿me entiendes? A eso, ¿me entiendes? De la cierta hora, ¿me entiendes? Que vos sabés, uno de ellos no, ¿me entiendes? He knows, so now I'm in trouble.
She really thought she was slick on this recorded phone call. She couldn't have been more obvious when she said 4 people left on a train in Spanish, as if prosecutors cannot put it together that she is talking about the 4 young men that were viciously killed.
Relatives and friends came to court to support her.
God is good. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Everybody, God bless you.
Would you guys support someone who committed a horrific crime like this if they were your best friend or daughter? Let me know in the comments section.
Cousins spoke last week.
She was a young girl who had a difficult life, not having a father, not having a mother, being abused physically, mentally. She was a very smart girl who had a bright future.
The moment she joined MS-13 and started dating a guy named Cruel was the end of whatever her cousin is calling a bright future. And I believe she had a rough upbringing, but that still does not excuse her setting up 4 young adults to get slaughtered with machetes. That is truly evil, and she deserves to be behind bars.
And according to prosecutors, that young woman helped plan those murders.
The horror of the gruesome crime among high school students, prompting the former president to visit Suffolk County. It's more than a dozen are charged in this case as young as age 15, put a national spotlight on Long Island's MS-13 gang violence.
According to people in the courtroom, she really earned her evil nickname, the Little Devil, and does not appear to feel bad even after hearing about all the pain and suffering she caused to the family members of the 4 young men that got slaughtered because of her.
Stoic is her reaction. She is
She took the verdict as well as a person could.
Linez Escobar faces life in prison. Her defense argued although she was there that night, she did not knowingly and intentionally murder the young men to increase her standing within MS-13.
It's tough to say you did not know what was going to happen when you and your boyfriend are laughing about it over texts the day after it happened.
But getting rid of her bloody clothes and incriminating information on her cell phone apparently too much for the jury to overcome.
Today at the federal courthouse in Central Islip, we heard from the sole survivor of the attack, Alexander Ruiz, who's now 22 years old.
Let's hope this young man can the psychological help he needs after facing this monster.
Ruiz said he and his friends were brought to the park by Escobar to smoke. When they got there, about a dozen MS-13 gang members appeared and ordered everyone onto the ground. Ruiz ran for his life. His 4 friends were murdered.
This could have easily have been 5 murders. Good thing he had the wherewithal to not follow their directions.
Prosecutors say Ruiz pretended to be part of MS-13 in social media posts, which the gang sees as a sign of disrespect punishable by death.
Poor guy was just a good kid playing dress-up and did not even do anything. And the fact this evil gang tried to slaughter him and his friends shows just how deplorable and sadistic these gang members are.
Escobar allegedly showed those posts to gang members, including her boyfriend.
Had it not been for the little devil, none of these young men would have been killed.
According to cell phone records presented in court, Escobar texted Ruiz the night before the murders, writing, "Hey, so what's up for tomorrow?"
She could not be more guilty and is a danger to society and every law-abiding citizen.
As for Escobar, she's being tried as an adult in this case, even though she was 17 when the murders happened.
Ms. Escobar maintains her innocence. She's pled not guilty.
4 accused members of MS-13 are currently awaiting trial for the killings, and 2 others have already been sentenced to at least 50 years behind bars.
At number 2. Over the past 10 years, mama goons have been taking over suburban hoods and running their own crime rings.
The judge set her bond at $250,000.
The woman is accused of targeting 5 banks downriver.
A big old suburban mama goon from Detroit was terrorizing the burbs for years and robbing everything that walked.
You reached out to her husband. What is he saying?
Yes, Alan and Glenda, Philip Helton would only say that this is all his fault, that their finances are in such bad shape. I wanted to ask him why his wife didn't just get a job.
For a seasoned mama goon, getting a job is beneath them.
Any criminal convictions on your record at all?
No. But all that may be about to change for Amalia Helton, because if the allegations are true, this stay-at-home mom was her own crime ring.
When Wendy's new Cajun spicy chicken sandwich dropped, it was only going to be a matter of time until the big old suburban mama goon made enough money to get as much sandwiches as her heart desires.
Pulling off 4 bank robberies and 2 attempts, all downriver and not far from this home she shares with her husband and 10-year-old son.
Wind up, we were just right. Monroe Bank and Trust.
The big old suburban mama goon had grown tired of settling for the $2 Wendy's Junior chicken sandwich. She wanted that $6 Cajun, so she did what she had to do to fill up that big old suburban stomach of hers.
Police say the bank robber in this hoodie is also Amalia Helton. This surveillance image was taken the day she's accused of robbing a Chase Bank in Allen Park just 2 days after Thanksgiving. And Wyandotte police say in their case, under that hat and behind those sunglasses is also Amalia Helton. And witnesses say she came in wearing latex gloves.
Yes, for 100s, 50s, and 20s. Of course, this is the same lady that's been robbing the other banks.
All the other drunk suburban book club ladies were completely shocked about the situation and didn't know what to think about what had happened.
Honestly, I don't even believe it. I've lived across the street from them for 10 years now, and I've never noticed anything out of the ordinary. She's usually just home. She watches like kids.
And when she's not taking care of her family, she's out robbing banks. Just your average big old suburban mama goon.
In court today, Wyandotte police said Helton confessed to their bank robbery, telling detectives she did it because she and her husband were having trouble making ends meet.
And those $2 Junior chickens just weren't hitting the same. Look at the size of that lettuce. It's twice the size of the burger.
We went to their Southgate home today where someone immediately closed the door when they spotted us outside.
Don't ever just show up to a big old mama goon's house unless you're Uber Eats.
You have the right to have a trial by a judge or by a jury. You also have the right to have an attorney. There's one that's here representing you today. You understand those rights, ma'am? Yes.
Unfortunately for the Mama Goon, she is facing serious prison time.
Seek other opportunities. There's jobs available out there, and jobs that won't land you in prison for a substantial amount of years, like bank robbery.
And Judge DeSanto also said if Helton is able to make bond, she must wear a tether and stay out of banks, including ones at grocery stores.
Even the judge knows how much big ol' suburban Mama Goons love the grocery store. At number 1, we look at Nay Benz, who is one of the only females out there that is a legitimate leader of a gang, and she built her reputation by being a stepper that has put in work on her rivals.
Nay Benz, police say you're a trigger puller.
Take aim and shoot no matter who's in the way. Instead of prom parties, their social events are shootings and funerals. The number of teen girls using guns is growing, and now female crime fighters are working to bring them to justice and turn their lives around before more lives are ruined.
Because the legal system favors women and takes it extremely easy on them, modern women are the main steppers and shooters in their squads because they will only get sentenced to a max of 10 years for a body. Now compare that to a man who will most likely get a life sentence or the death penalty for that same exact crime.
19-year-old Brianna Portalatin, 8 months pregnant, was among other suspects brought out from a sort of criminal commune in a Bronx apartment. She was in handcuffs again. Police say it's her third gun arrest.
New York has some of the strictest gun laws in the entire country, and the fact that this young adult, who was Nay Ben's best friend, was able to be free and not serving any time after 2 gun arrests tells you everything you need to know about why women are being used as steppers.
What's going on here?
I love you, babe.
The expectant mom with a rap sheet is allegedly one of 20 members of the notorious Slaughtery Gang, indicted in 14 shootings in the Fordham section of the Bronx. In our exclusive look inside the NYPD takedown, we learn she's not the only female alleged trigger puller. There's also the gang's leader, 19-year-old Nadine Asamoah, known as drill rapper Nay Benz. Investigators say she was the leader.
Police say you're a trigger puller. Is that true? What? Police say you're a trigger puller.
Nay Benz was a strong leader and the type of young lady that put absolute fear in her rivals. She ran her gang with an iron fist and demanded complete loyalty and made sure that her members were constantly sliding on their rivals.
Saw three case members, which we've never had before, arrested. When you look at those 3 case members, total 5 trigger pulling incidents and 6 gun arrests amongst those 3 females. So we're seeing the violence, it's increasing, and it's concerning.
Trailblazing Bronx DA Darcel Clark says there are many reasons why they're seeing girls get seduced by the gang lifestyle.
Some of them are afraid. Some of them are forced to do it. Some of them just, are curious. They like the bad boys, so they want to run in those circles to see what it's like. They may not necessarily be like that, but it's too late once you get caught up in it.
For Nay Benz, the leader of the set, she was definitely not afraid and definitely not there for the bad boys. She was just a hood trophy that went up the ranks of her set and eventually became the leader. In this last section, we look at female gang members that are an embarrassment to their gangs. At number 5, female drill rap has been taking over the streets and has gotten extremely popular and mainstream. The newest female drill rapper to pop off and make it mainstream is a 30-year-old lady who goes by the rapper name Taylor.
Men usually think that they're competing with other men when it comes to dating me, and they're wrong. They're competing with me. I love to be alone. I love to be in a bed by myself. I like to go get coffee by myself. I like to lay my head down at night and not have to worry about someone's son.
For Taylor, it's a giant red flag. When a man cares deeply about his son and wants to talk about him at night, she's not trying to hear none of that.
Really like to be by myself. So if hanging out with you isn't as great for me as it is to hang out with me.
All of her fans agree with this statement, and this type of thought process helps explain why the dating market is so bad right now.
Your ego's beyond me.
Taylor loves to say how she is completely over her ex, despite the fact almost all her social media posts are about him.
You don't get to say you know me if you only know the version of me that stayed. That's not who I am. I found out my ex was cheating on me. He was like, "You don't trust me? Go through my phone." And I was like, "Okay, I will." And so I went through his phone, saw everything, And then
Telling your girl to go through your phone knowing it's full of all the girls you've been messaging to try and cheat on her with is diabolical and can partially explain why she feels the way she does towards men.
I went through his Instagram and all of his DMs and stuff for just like the extra confirmation that he was cheating on me. And he was, but also he had been DMing all of these girls constantly. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, I was so embarrassed. And I was like, how many fucking girls can you DM? And he was like, well, if it makes you feel any better, like, they don't even respond. And I'm like, that's worse. That's so much worse. Like, you're trying to cheat on me and you're failing because no other female wants you. That is so much worse. I was just thinking about how when I found out my ex...
I might not agree with everything Taylor says, but I'm 100% with her on this one.
I've gained 30 pounds. I've gained 30 pounds in about 6 months. I am getting comments about it. I've seen them. I see the messages, I see the comments, I delete the comments. But I'm wanting to address this because it's a very important message. I've gained weight and I'm the healthiest I've ever been. I am working out all the time. I'm running every day. I feel incredible. I'm so happy. I am so ecstatic with my life.
Number 1, shout out to her for being healthier because she looks great and should not be worried about the comment section. Number 2, if you're trying to get sympathy from people, social media is not the place to turn. You signed up to be a drill rapper and public figure, and with that you signed up for all the negativity that will show up in the comment sections. Literally every single public figure gets negative comments. She then explains how she is so over her ex and wrote a song about him that's now all over the radio. She then makes another post about that same ex that she is completely over and never thinks about, and brags about how she is on a giant billboard in Times Square. She then makes another post about that same ex that she is completely over and never thinks about. And in the post she captioned it by writing how it's only 10 in the morning and she has already called her ex a couple times.
I'm a girl's girl through and through, and then at that point I become a lesson. Because clearly, if at your big ol' age, you are still a mean, nasty, disrespectful human being, somebody has to teach you why that's not okay. And it is now my job to break the cycle.
And now, we get to see the transition from a heartbroken suburban mom that can't get over her ex-boyfriend to a drill rapper really from the streets, standing on business and putting in work for her set. Just look at that face. Does that not scream really about that life? At number 4, welcome to the story of Kiara Nixon, the deadliest setup queen in all of Alabama. For Kiara, who had 70,000 followers on Instagram, she felt that she was a self-made queen, and she was extremely arrogant and genuinely believed that she was better than others and the most beautiful girl in any room she walked into. She was extremely superficial. All she really cared about was clicks and clout on social media, and she was willing to do just about anything to get a couple more likes on a post. To understand this case, you have to look at the 2 completely different lives Kiara lived. On the surface, she was a professional, certified nail technician. She built a massive local client base in the city to the point where she had a strict 3-week waiting list just to get an appointment. On her social media pages, she openly shared her ultimate career goal, saving up enough money to open her own luxury beauty salon. But while she was building a legitimate business by day, she was deeply involved with gangs in the streets. Jokingly, Kiara once even posted on social media that she would not date a guy unless he had at least one body under his belt. And the type of people she surrounded herself with were some of the most dangerous the state of Alabama. Out on the streets, people started whispering about a second income. She was a trapper and a setup queen, which is an attractive young lady who uses her good looks to line up rival gang members for either a cash payout or just to further her reputation in the streets. The logistics of a setup are simple. She hangs out with men who flash jewelry, drugs, or cash, and then she text messages their exact location to her criminal associates so they can stage a robbery. No official police records ever proved Kiara actually did this, but she was the main suspect in multiple gang-related homicides. But for whatever reason, she was somehow able to avoid murder charges on multiple different occasions. Whether the police get you or it's a family member of one of the men you set up, when you cause that much pain in the streets, eventually your time is coming. Bad deeds don't go unpunished. To nobody's surprise, it did not take long until Kiara found out exactly how dangerous her environment was because of all the people that she wronged. She was driving at night with a well-known local drug dealer in her passenger seat when they were ambushed at a red light. A gunman pulled up and opened fire directly into the car. The passenger died on the scene, and Kiara was hit by a bullet that entered the back of her head, traveled through her ear, and exited her face. She survived a gunshot wound that should have killed her, but the injury left her with permanent physical damage. She completely lost hearing in her right ear and went partially blind in her right eye. Instead of using this near-death experience to walk away from the streets, the survival made her feel invincible. She went right back to the clubs and the same crowd, treating her scars as proof that she was untouchable. She continued using her good looks to set up men and rob them of everything they have got, and on the side she was trafficking large amounts of illegal substances. Police had been investigating her for some time for all the robberies and homicides she was involved with, and less than a year after surviving that first shooting on October 1st, police intercepted Kiara and arrested her on major, high-level drug trafficking charges. Her bond was set at a massive $250,000. For a 21-year-old nail tech still building a business from the ground up, a bond that high should have kept her in a cell for months. But Kiara posted the full $40,000 cash immediately, without hesitation. On January 10th at 1:15 in the morning, Kiara was sitting alone in her car, parked directly in her family's driveway. Her aunt and cousins were inside the house sleeping. Kiara decided to start a Facebook live stream to talk to her followers, but the broadcast took a dark turn when a local gang member named Trey the Head Splitter joined the comment section. They immediately started a heated public argument on camera and were both making threats towards each other. The live stream ended at exactly 1:30 a.m. For the next 34 minutes, Kiara stayed inside her car. Then, at 2:04 a.m., a dark sedan with heavily tinted windows drove down the street with its headlights completely turned off. It slowed down and stopped just 10 feet away from her driveway. The killer fired 5 shots from inside his vehicle, hitting Kiara multiple times. The shooter never even got out of the car. They just pulled up, executed her, and sped away. Kiara died right there in the driveway, only 15 feet from her front door. Because of the public argument on Facebook Live, the entire city immediately assumed Trey was the killer. He had just threatened her on camera, and 34 minutes later, she was dead. It seemed like an open and shut case, but when the police actually investigated, they discovered a completely different reality. Trey was entirely innocent. When detectives tracked the cell tower data and ballistics from the crime scene, they arrested a 24-year-old named Marcus Vance. Vance did not know Kiara, he didn't follow her on social media, and he didn't care about the Facebook Live argument. He was a professional hitman. Kiara was so hated to the point 2 separate people had placed bounties on her head, so the hitman had a sweet deal. He was cashing in on 2 for the price of 1. Allegedly, one of the family members that believed she was responsible for his son's death, along with a local drug kingpin, had both separately put out a hit on Kiara's life, weeks before the shooting happened. A few months prior, when Kiara had been arrested on those major drug trafficking charges, the leaders of the drug trafficking ring was terrified that she was going to cooperate with the police to get a lighter sentence. So he paid Marcus Vance to eliminate her to protect him and his crew. At number 3, when thinking of all the legendary snow bunnies that have been out here, gangbanging, trapping, and putting in work for their squads, you can't have a list without mentioning one of the original snow bunny goons, Lil Debbie. Around 10 years ago, the highly respected Rolling 60 Crip gang member Brick Baby was extremely close with Lil Debbie, and the two of them were out trapping, hitting licks, and wilding out in the streets of California. While they never officially dated, many people have speculated that they were romantically involved, and this was Lil Debbie's official introduction to the streets of California. If you want any hope of becoming a respected snow bunny driller, you're going to have a lot of tattoos if you want anyone to take you seriously. And in this clip, we get to see Lil Debbie adding some new tattoos so she can maintain her street cred. In order to survive in these streets, it's important for snow bunny drillers to maintain a healthy diet to help negate some of the unhealthy effects that come from all the illegal substances they indulge in. And in this next clip, we get to see Lil Debbie re-upping on some desperately needed potassium from a banana.
Jordan, how's the Tokyo banana?
Is it a Tokyo banana?
It's a Twinkie.
Lil Debbie has gone through a major transformation over the years, from clashing with gang members to now feuding with someone far more dangerous. This is the kind of person you can't clap back at without risking your entire career. Say the wrong thing, and you could get canceled and lose everything.
I have this camera pointing downwards, like I'm looking at you, like a peasant, because you are a girl. You know, you really jumped out the window when you compared yourself to me.
This is one of those beefs where if you win, you lose, so the best response is nothing. Although she is underground, she has always had a lot of fans, and in this next clip we get to see a sea of Caucasian women shrieking and going crazy for their role model, Lil Debbie. For a snow bunny driller, reputation is everything, and if you don't want to get a face tattoo yourself, if you want to be taken seriously, it's important that you have at least one friend with a giant face tat. And in this next clip, we get to see Lil Debbie's token face tattoo friend complain how much she misses Lil Debbie.
We wish you were here.
We wish Abby was. Should I just post it or send her the message?
Oh, I was going to send it to her. Or not.
We miss you.
Lil Debbie is known to always bring around a token friend everywhere she goes. She either has an African American that she pays to take photos with, or a face tat girl that she pays in illegal substances to follow her around and make her look tough.
Oh, hey. Annoying.
This next clip of her doing the thizzle dance shows that despite all the hundreds of African Americans that have been inside of her deep down, she is still 100% Caucasian. And these dancing skills prove that you can't add seasoning to a bland bag of milk and expect it to taste good. And in this last clip, we get to see a throwback from 10 years ago when she was trapping all day and hanging out with Brick Baby. As you can see, she captioned it for police to let them know that she is the plug and should be investigated. At number 2. This next drill rapper from Kentucky goes by the name Sierra the Rapper, and she is really proud of the fact that her name is Sierra.
If there's one thing anybody need to know about me out here is that I speak the truth and I really rap nowadays. So let me introduce myself to you so you remember who's really speaking. Like whom?
Before moving forward with this lyrical masterpiece, I need all of you guys to pay attention to how many times she says the word Sierra.
Sierra the rapper, Sierra the baddest, I already know. Sierra that big for Kentucky, don't tune up the skills and the bodies, they staying on coast. Sierra not playing, Sierra the realest, Sierra get money and move on the low. I'm finna pop it, Sierra go crazy, don't sleep on Sierra, she up to the bone.
I didn't catch that. What was her name again?
It is Sierra the queen, one and the only Sierra a minute, Sierra ain't.
You are definitely not one of the only Sierras, believe it or not. Sierra is in the top 600 most common names in the United States. This really tough drill rapper then goes on to rap about how she rides around with a strap and slumps rival females. Like the strong, intelligent, and powerful woman that she is, she ends up clapping back at all the haters who have a tough time understanding what she says.
In a lot of comments, people were saying I'm over enunciating when I rap, and then people are saying they don't understand what I say when I rap. So I'm just gonna start putting subtitles on my...
In this next clip, this same drill rapper riding around with a big old strap hunting for her rivals shows us a more sentimental side to her.
For the past hour. And nothing is coming out except tears. I've been bawling my eyes out, and I'm not gonna cry on camera. I'm not gonna cry no more, too much snot, gross. Ooh, y'all need to see me like that. But all I can think about is how Christmas is coming in December. And for the people that didn't know, from the time of me being born, I didn't celebrate no Christmas.
Has anyone ever heard someone say Christmas like that? Is this a Southern thing? I need you guys to let me know in the comment section.
Celebrate no Christmas. Juvie don't do no for Christmas. They don't get... When I got out of juvie...
You missing Christmas because you were in juvie sounds to me like your bad decisions got you there, and perhaps if you had made better choices, you wouldn't have missed all those Christmases.
I could have decorated the tree with some old pop cans outside, but that's besides the point, you know what I mean? It's not what it is. But I realized, me being 19 years old now...
She is 19 going on 35. There is no way this lady isn't in her mid-30s.
I can have my first Christmas this year. My very first.
This is honestly pretty sad, and this goes to show you guys the consequences of living this kind of lifestyle while playing gangsta on the internet might look fun and exciting. There is a whole other side to it, full of disappointment and regret for the wasted years.
My own, and it's got me emotional. And I don't even think it's just because the Christmas thing is more like to my child self, like, hey, I know you went through a lot, whatever, but things are different now. And you're going to be able to experience the world. Yada, yada, yada. And yeah, let me stop being a sappy.
Hopefully she can come to the realization that living that lifestyle only ends in disappointment. And in this next clip, we get to see why Sierra is the reigning spelling bee champion in Kentucky.
A lot of y'all didn't know Big C stands for Big Kentucky.
Someone needs to let her know that Kentucky is spelled with a K, not a C. In this next clip, Sierra starts bragging about her most intimate area, and she claims she has got the type of goodie that makes men go crazy.
I can tuck a fried cooler cat, finger licking good. You heard, huh? Big C, big wallet, big me, huh, huh.
When this drill rapper isn't talking about her Kentucky Fried Cuda Cat, which is finger-licking good, she likes to push out a good message for the youth about the importance of sobriety.
I make songs talking about eating Percocets until eyes roll in the back. Y'all want to say I make junkie music? Y'all are backwards as I guess that I'm just disappointed because in my opinion, it's one thing to not like a song. Everyone has personal preferences, but to say like this, it just really lands to me as out of touch. Like you have no clue what goes on in the real world. And another thing that I want to say while it's on my mind is I'm so sick and tired of seeing people shame addicts as if they're not people for being addicts when addiction is such a human thing to go through. Really, I just don't see why there's feedback like this on a song about endorsing Percocets.
At number 1. Welcome to Dearborn, Michigan, a city in the metro Detroit area with a reputation for chaos.
It's definitely a tragic night in the city tonight, and police are now searching for who is responsible. From all directions, police were blocking the road, many pathways covered in caution tape, as we learned the details about what happened Monday night.
Medical units made the scene, and while at the scene, the first victim was pronounced.
We overheard people at the scene saying they knew the victims.
The Detroit Police Department would like to offer our condolences, thoughts, and prayers to the family and friends of the victims.
Because as of right now, it is unclear who is responsible.
This type of chaos was the environment Claire Siobhan grew up in, and her music matches the reality of the struggles she went through growing up in Dearborn, Michigan. And just like every other drill rapper with any respect in the streets, Claire Siobhan decided to go on a legendary podcast in Los Angeles called No Jumper. This is a police-affiliated operation where detectives invite criminals who are being investigated to talk about their crimes on a podcast so they can help get the evidence to help prosecutors secure a conviction. Adam, 22. The investigator in charge of this operation has a reputation for being a family man and a man that deeply loves and cherishes his wife, and because of his family values and hard-on-crime attitude, he doesn't play around when it's time to conduct an interrogation. He is going to ask you the tough questions that will land you a life sentence in prison. Luckily for Claire, he took it easy on her and decided not to focus on her street affiliations, but instead he wanted to talk about her love life and all the struggles that come with being a beautiful girl with high standards that men can't measure up to.
Like, they only see that I'm white. Like, they don't see that I got bars.
Are all these rappers trying to be your boyfriend?
Yeah, guys like groupies or something, and I'm...
She being modest.
Not long after the legendary No Jumper interview, she dropped a huge hit record called Savage that was massive, and all of a sudden she went from drill rap to mainstream superstar.
I just grind and go hard. Cash this. I don't own a payment, nothing borrowed.
Her massive record Savage went triple platinum and got so big some would say it has become a staple in modern culture. And a decade-defining anthem. I guarantee 9 out of 10 people watching this video have heard this song, and I would guess more than half of their grandmothers know it as well.
You might have seen that music video. It is quickly taking Instagram and TikTok by storm. She's a new artist, and she is headlining a concert next month with Detroit native Cash Doll. That is huge.
Claire Siobhan had hit it mainstream, and she is on her way to becoming a global icon.
Claire Siobhan, welcome. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate it. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How did a girl from Dearborn end up in music class and doing what you're doing now?
How could a girl like her possibly get involved with drill rap?
So I had a little bit of a performing arts background, so I was always acting. If it wasn't in church, it was in Shakespeare projects in the summertime, and then I danced for hip-hop and jazz for about 10 to 12 years, and then I was in the church choir for a long time too.
As you guys can tell, she is really from the streets, and she is able to draw inspiration from her rough upbringing in her music.
But I always listen to rap music. I mean, we've got the best here in Detroit, and I was always listening to the radio growing up, so I'm not only a fan of the local artists, but the DJs here.
It makes perfect sense why she became a drill rapper. It's got to be the authenticity that resonates most with her fans.
What's the feedback so far on this single? What are you hearing?
I was not expecting this much love. I really was not. I mean, it feels really good because I really put a lot of hard work into it. I put my heart into that song.
For no reason whatsoever. In this next clip, the news reporter takes a shot at Claire's massive record.
When I first clicked on that video and watched it, you know what the first thing I thought of was Clueless. I mean, that's kind of like what you think of when you see that. Are you hearing that a lot?
We're rolling with the punches.
And in this last video, Claire gives us a tour of the hood where she grew up.
We got Claire Siobhan 313 up at Dearborn High. This is where I went to high school. We're at Dearborn High. I ran track here, cross country, and I was on the cheerleading team. I competed for a little bit. I also was on Quiz Bowl. I was very involved in the student life here. I did yearbook as well, so I learned a lot here and how to.
Given her rough upbringing, it's a miracle that she was able to make it out the streets.
So this is where I grew up. I'm here at my parents' house, and believe it or not, right here in this backyard is where I used to put on dance performances for all of my neighbors, and I charged 30 cents a ticket, and I think I was 9 years old, and I did some Miley Cyrus and some Miley Cyrus songs, and that song that's like, it's too late to apologize. I also sang in a church choir, and I acted all throughout my childhood in both church stuff and Shakespeare plays, so I was around the performing arts a lot, and my parents really pushed me to keep going in that creative avenue.
In this next clip, we get to hear from Claire's mom, who explains all the reckless things Claire used to do for money growing up.
I am Claire's mom, Maureen. When Claire was little, she was always wondering how to make money, and we used to have block parties where she and a friend would make dances up, and then they would charge the neighbors a bottle or a can to come and see the show. And then
For Claire, growing up in the projects was rough, and she had to get it out the mud if she wanted a bottle of liquor or a can of beer.
a bottle or a can to come and see the show. And then Claire has always been rapping since she was a teenager. That was her favorite form of music. Until recently, I didn't realize whose song she was singing, but I finally watched First Day Out by T. Grizzly and recognized the lyrics right away because Claire used to sing that song all the time.
After seeing her favorite rapper T. Grizzly work hard, make it out the hood, and do something positive with his life, Claire used that as motivation to make it out the projects where she grew up.
In the past 8 months or so, she started writing songs and singing them, and I thought it was interesting, and she took it further and further, and it's just a very great creative outlet for her because she's always been really strong at writing, and I think it's exciting that she's able to pursue her interests, and I'm excited to see where that's going to take her.